What's going on, guys? Today we have an amazing special podcast, impromptu podcast, because we have an amazing guest on here. Somebody who knows a thing or two about branding, things or two thing about business. Somebody who is going to share with us his story about the guy has how many followers right now, Sam? Does this guy have?
Over 1.1 million on Instagram alone.
And he's not. And look at it, he's not impressed. He wants to, obviously, I can tell. But seriously, like he's going to try to be humble and say like that's not important. He's going to talk a little bit about kind of where he came from 0 followers all the way up to 1 million. Talking about the importance of it. Even before we got on this podcast, he was like, you can just tell he's jacked and he's excited about this topic, and I'm excited to hear his story, where he came from. I know he came from Australia, but I want to talk about his real estate, his business journey, and how he came up through the game. So Sam, if you want to, please bring us in, my friend.
Yeah. So Jay, an element of what we want to do here is highlight successful entrepreneurs and people who are leaders and they're givers, right? You take one look at your social media, it's very evident that you're passionate about giving and teaching people the power of personal branding and how it can help them scale what they want and get to their dreams quicker. And here's the thing. It's inspiring and it's motivating, but for a lot of people who are just starting out, where I was not too very long ago, it's very hard to relate to, let's just say, someone who has 1.1 million followers on Instagram, because not all of us have that, right? And what we want to do in the origin story, this was a lesson taught to me by my mentor, Pace Morby, and it's that sometimes it's very difficult for people to resonate and relate to the success. It can inspire them and motivate them, but what they can actually relate to and it inspires meaningful action is seeing where they started and their journey to get to where they're at. So that's what we want to do in the origin story. We'd love to hear yours from where you started, right, to get to where you're at now, leading, helping investors and entrepreneurs and businesses at insane scales build up their branding in a big way. And then eventually we want to also show our audience and our good friends how they can get on this journey in a big way too. So lead us in, man. I'd love to start hearing your origin story.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, boys. We're keeping it cool on a Friday here in Miami. You guys have got the room vibe. I got the office global vibe, because today, boys, we're going global, right? We're going global. Whatever country, whatever you want, you can go have. And that sort of ties into the story a little bit, because 16 years ago, I wanted to do two things. I wanted to stand on stage, and I wanted to tell everybody my story. But where my sort of unicorn in the industry was, I started my career in entertainment. And the problem with entertainment is it's very high and it's very low. Some people listening right now may have had highs in their life where they made a lot of money, or they were at this point in their life, and then there's a low very quickly. Welcome to that life every single day for me, being in the entertainment business. One day you're hot, one day you're not. One day you're loved, one day you're loathed. One day you're the kingpin, and one day no one even wants to even talk to you, right? So for a lot of my life, I never was able to be fit in. I didn't know where I was going, what I was doing. It was very much an elusive. Entertainment is this weird thing, dude. It's not like this. It's very much, and it can be very soulless. And anyone's listening right now who's done these kind of things, not just entertainment and business, like, you have your highs, and then next minute it's like, where did all my money go? How did I lose everything? Right? One day you're driving a Lambo, and then the next, you're literally living with your parents, and you're thinking like, what happened to me? So, to cut a long story short, my background was entertainment, and then I built a speaking career from that. And then, obviously I ran a nightclub, I ran a digital agency, but my pain in the space was I just didn't fit in. I didn't feel like anyone understood who I was. My brother's the kind of guy, 17, gets married, has a kid, kind of thing, like dog life, picket fence. I'm this very unique looking Australian guy from 17 traveling around the world. People didn't know what was going on. So everybody listening right now, a lot of people would understand the feeling of just not fitting in. You didn't follow what your parents wanted to do. You didn't follow society. You didn't get married to the first girl you met at school, And it was challenging, man, because most people, guys, think like this.
Yeah.
Most people are in this mindset. We're fortunate because we actually think bigger. There's not many of us, dude.
So
imagine
you were
99% of the world, 98% of the world, not thinking like that. That's hard to find that 2%. And that's how I felt for a long time.
So when you made that transition, so it sounds like the people around you, your family, were somebody who were like, you felt like they were holding you down. Like when was that in your life? Like at what age? When was it in your career that you broke that shackle and you
18
moved away?
when I started traveling.
18.
Yeah. So we have this thing. It's like, when people finish school in America, they go and party in like Tulum or, they go to Vegas or wherever. Like, what do you call it here in America? We call it schoolies in Australia. What do you call it? Like what do you call it when you finish school and you go to the party? What is that week called?
Spring break.
Spring break. Sorry. Yeah. Spring break. So
you go to Miami where you're at.
Yeah. They go to Miami. Yeah. So here's the deal. Like I was raised pretty religious at the time. I was raised, it was great family. You know what I mean? Raised with great parents. But I said, I want to go travel. I want to go out of the country. Australia is beautiful, but we're an island, dude. We're an island 15 hours away from America, right? So I started traveling. So when you travel, here's what happens when you travel. Number one, you lose your ego. You got no one to impress. Two, right? Your confidence improves because you're by yourself with a backpack trying to talk to people. And three, your self-awareness is super strong because all you have is, where am I? I don't know the language, and what am I doing? So the power of that, was traveling.
It's amazing. And so when you talk about that you were in the entertainment industry, like what is that? Like that seems very broad. Like was it a specific niche category? Did you do lots of different things?
Yeah. Did you guys read it up? I was a magician for 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about that right before you got on.
And I was a magician. I was the 7-year-old that did magic tricks longer than the next kid. That took me around to all different countries, all different men, all different cultures, worked with celebrities, made some money, provided some incredible experiences. Yeah. What that thing taught me over 15 to 18 years was the ability to how to win friends and influence people times 1,000. You've read that book?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I could eat that book for Monday morning breakfast because that was my job. My job was one guy getting paid a lot of money to go to a room full of people to make them have a lot of fun with different personality types, with different egos, gay, straight, black, white, Asian. One man to do all of that in a night. You have to become pretty good at working a room. You have to become pretty good at getting people to like you. So, you do that 2 or 3 events, a week, a month, you're a master, dude. It's like you become pretty good pretty quick. But what it did is it really gave me the understanding of people. It gave me the understanding of rapport, relatability, emotional control. If we can go deep right now, a lot of people are just not in their control of their emotions. You got to realize it's all here, man.
So one thing that I wanted to go back to this a little bit,
yeah.
And it's very evident, right? Just from seeing what you do and finally getting to meet you virtually, it's very obvious that you are a tried and true showman, and that is a very rare trait. It's an extremely rare trait, and I love that you said emotional control, because a lot of that stuff it's just having a high degree of emotional intelligence. Because a lot of people, they view showmen and they're ultra passionate in what they do, but I love that you also use the phrase "working the room." And it's that you have to have control of what you're presenting, what you're showcasing, because you have an intended effect that you want to get from them, right? But going back to another thing that you talked about, it's something that, even though it's a different industry, even though it's real estate and investing in entrepreneurship in a different way, you having to basically leave behind for your own personal development and growth, your family, and maybe some, I don't want to say limiting self-beliefs, but that's what ends up happening. And I'm a guy who comes from, a minority family that's an immigrant family, and they believe in certain things. going off and building something on your own, that's not that's a dangerous path, is not the right way to do it. But the fact that you at 17, 18, at a very, very young age, had the conviction in yourself to go ahead and take that journey on. And it goes to show that it's not just, it's one, it's risky, right? It's super risky. But two, it goes to show the self-belief that you had to basically not just, leave home, but to basically, hey, I'm going to hop onto another continent and then chase this dream down. 100%. People like you are wired a very unique way. And I'm just stoked to have you on, because we need more people like that being highlighted, because there's a lot of other people in this world right now in America who maybe come from immigrant families that were very conservative and old school and traditional, and they have sons and daughters who are capable of doing the exact same thing and then influencing great change in the world, but they never do it because they're maybe bogged down a little bit into suppressing, honestly, the greatness that they have in themselves. So I'm loving this. And for all the real estate people out there who are in W-2s, and you guys have maybe a family and you're trying to make a calculated decision, I'm going to tell you this: at some point, you have to be willing to bet on yourself, to go full-time in this, to go become hyper successful if that's what you want to do. This is an amazing lesson from Jay.
Yeah, man. Yeah, thanks. Look, at the end of the day, like, everyone can write this one down. The stories you tell yourself will either make you fly or make you die.
No.
The stories you tell yourself will fuel you or fail you. You'll love them or loathe them. Man, if I wake up every day, I'm shy, I'm an introvert, my mom's Indian, my dad is whatever, Persian, I'm never going to get married, I got to do this. Dude, you are constantly telling the world, I don't have a podcast like these boys. I don't have a TV show like Pace and Jamil. Man, I don't have a cool suit jacket like Jay. I don't have that personality type. Dude, I've heard every excuse you can think of, because at the end of the day, coming back to personal branding, right? It comes down to one thing alone: self-belief. That's it. And the reason why you're not putting yourself out there, it isn't because you don't look good or sound good or you're not attractive or you're not cool or you weren't a magician. It's because the 4-letter word of fear. That's it. It's all you see. Just say it. Just say it. I said to a client this morning, I said, just say it. She's like, what? Just say the real reason why you don't want to do it. Well, I don't know what to do. Say you were scared. Because when you say it and see it, you can fix it. And the moment that she allowed, and she's a type D, director personality type. She ain't, but the moment like I can break them is the moment when they're like, you're right, I'm scared. Good. It's okay. But as you guys said, look at what's happening in the world now. We don't want perfection. We don't want Barbie and Ken anymore. We want unique looks. Yeah. We want people who have unique stories. Your story matters. Your story is super important. You don't need to have sold drugs and lived on your parents' couch and been homeless to make it. I have people like, well, I never sold drugs. Okay, I didn't. Well, where are you going with this? Because they think that's what people want to hear. Yeah. No. Have you been through a bad business partnership? Have you been through a divorce? Have you been through a breakup? Have you been through a time where you didn't know where your next money was going to be? Great. Share that. Build relatability. People will connect with you if they look like you, sound like you, or want to be you.
Yeah. So authenticity is basically what I took from that. It's like, just be authentic. Yeah. And obviously, like, your story is not that you came from a drug dealing family. You didn't have this issue, but you talked about your story. And so as we actually make this transition a little bit into talking about personal branding, something that I can tell you just want to talk about it because it's something you're really passionate about. Like, how important is that authenticity when it comes to personal branding?
Well, yeah, let me pause you there. I'm passionate about telling people the truth of what it's actually going to take, not what you see some dude in Miami in a Lambo tell you in a 15-second ad, or you see, Pace and Jamil's TV show. Oh, they were just given it by the producer because they're cool. Dude, it's not true. So, I'm passionate about telling people straight up, whether they like me or not, they will. They'll text me 5 days later and like, shit, you're right. It will get to them. But at the beginning, it hurts, dude. Emotional control. I evoke emotion because, hey, welcome to realizing the best investor doesn't always get the deals. The guy who's on how many deals do you, and I keep going back to Pace and Jamil because I know you guys know them. How many deals do you think they get because they're on a TV show? A lot more than you and I and all of us. They're not the best. They're nice guys. I know them. They're not the best investors. They're just two dudes that got offered an opportunity that's now put on a media platform to get them more attention. Now there's more trust. You know, I got 50 grand, babe. Let me just give it to them. They I like it. That's how it works. Anyway, so let me come back to you. What was the question again?
Yes, Pace had to hire a full-time person in his DMs from Instagram in order to take care of all the deals he gets.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, that question was just how important is authenticity in the respects to personal branding?
It beats relatability, 100%. I had this conversation yesterday with someone.
What does that mean? So,
I'll give you a perfect
they would
example.
misconstrue that. They would think authenticity and relatability is the same thing. So, what is those differences?
Perfect example, right? There are people who listen to me. This is relatability. This is authenticity, right? People, doesn't matter what I say. There are some people who will not ever be able to relate to me. Okay, I'm a man. I'm a human. Great. Deep stuff. Well, they weren't. I'm going to go like obvious, right? They're not extroverted in their mind. They've been shy. They actually fit in. They already had friends to always hang out with, right? They actually didn't think like, you know, they were selling drugs and they were homeless. And I've shared my story for 2 minutes. And they're white and they're overweight and they're from Minneapolis, right? How are they going to relate to that 5-minute bit? It's hard. Like they can get it, but it doesn't hit their pain. It doesn't hit them. But when I'm authentic, authenticity comes from realness, comes from like someone feeling, man, this guy's very genuine. Then what happens is when they feel that I'm at a place where I'm like, it's sort of like a blank canvas, they feel like they can share too. They feel like they're talking to the person. Now you're at a neutral level. That's what I want to have people at, right? I used to think relatability was important. It can help, but I'd rather people feel like at least I know when I chat with someone and they chat with me, they feel like we're connected on a genuine level. It's genuine conversation, not this kind of facade. And I just feel it's super important because if people feel like you're genuine, they'll listen to you.
Well, I mean, I have to say this. I feel like as someone who's really, really, really learning and seeing the value in building your personal brand the right way, on our side, right? Not just the viewer's side, but as the author of the story, it's so much more sustainable and there's so much more longevity in being genuinely yourself versus trying to fit a persona to be relatable.
Yeah, because you don't have to wake up every day and be someone you're not.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's hard for me to say that because look, I get it. There might be people listening right now, man, like it feels good to rent the Lambo or to be someone I'm not because I feel something. What will happen is it will be hard to keep that facade up. And I know guys personally that travel around the world and they've sort of screwed themselves a little bit. They only can show photos of them in exotic hotels. Well, dude, you keep spending the Waldorf Astoria gig a night, $2,000 a night, $3,000 a night. Well, how do you keep going up from there? And they just ghost online. So what are you staying at the Motel Inn tonight? Motel 6, you know? But the point of the story is like, they know, and I keep telling them, they're friends of mine, I'm like, dude, you got to start to bring it down because you're literally not real. And you'll also attract those people as well, right? I want people that know me for a while. I want to connect with them. I want people like a genuine conversation because when it's real, it's raw. And it's like, that's the kind of people I want to attract, you know? So
So as we're kind of, because we know you got so much going on, as we're running up on time, I wanted to, and this is me being totally selfish. I know there's going to be people who are watching who are going to get value out of this. Logan and I, me especially, I'm at a point where like my business is scaling, it's doing well, like the business is performing, and that's the most important thing for me right now is it performs. And I see the value in building the personal brand, and I need to. I absolutely am 100% with it. But in this day and age of social media and like the curating of it, all this kind of stuff, what would you recommend to someone who's in my position where I'm like, I'm off the ground, I've got some stability, now I'm scaling? What are my steps to start really kind of working on in a meaningful, effective way, not just posting Instagram stories more often, but in a meaningful, effective way to start building personal brand?
Well, let me ask you this. Why do you want to build your personal brand?
Everything that we talked about. So a lot of it is going to tie into the business, right? It's actually going to result in more business. Two, I actually like have a passion. I want to share my story with a lot more people, because I've seen in our community alone, we have a, it's not small, it's like 4,000 people in our community, and just sharing and being a giver, that's naturally what I like to do. It's why we do things like this podcast. I've seen the effect that it has on people, and I want to magnify that effect at a greater scale.
Yeah. And why do you want to magnify that effect at a larger scale?
Because people in my life have done that for me, and I've seen it, and I've been able to resonate with it, and I've been able to, it actually inspired me to get out of where we were at, because we grew up in poverty, we grew up in the ghetto, that kind of stuff.
Right.
And if looking back at, Logan knows this, I'm an extremely grateful human being.
Okay, cool.
And I'm very grateful to people who inspired me to do that. And I know that the reality is, if I do this the right way, like outside of the selfish benefits of business and money and fame and all that kind of stuff, I have the potential to do that for other people too.
Okay, cool. Pause right there. And Logan, why do you want to grow your personal brand?
Yeah, I'm gonna go a little more direct than Sam is. Like, I want people who want to invest with me, so they have capital they want to invest in me, and people who want to read me deals. Like, really simply.
Cool. And what's more important for you, likes or money?
Money.
Okay, cool. So the reason I ask you guys these questions, to answer your question, I need to know the why to help someone, like the deep why. That's why I double asked you why. Sometimes I'll ask 5 times. Mm-hmm. And I like that both of you had a bit of a different response. There's no problem with money at all. And there's no problem with impact. You can have both, or you can have one and change. So what I would do, Sam, for you to give you the perfect strategy, because you want to build really deep connection and help people, because you said that a few times listening, I would start by doing Instagram lives every day. Instagram lives are going to be, everyone can do this. Like, this is like very powerful. You do an Instagram live every day at the same time. What is it to give you? 3 things. Number 1, it gives you the feeling of clarity. When you can't overthink, whatever comes up is going to come up. 2, you're going to build a connection with an audience. The fastest way to build a connection with an audience is when you see them come up on the phone. Hey, Sam. Hey, Logan. Hey, Jay. Really appreciate you being here. Comment below of where you're listening in from. And 3, your confidence level is going to shoot through the roof, because you will feel like you're empowered. You're validated. As men, we need power. We need feeling. Women are more nurturers, but men, we need like validation. We need acceptance. We need like, we're the man. You get that when you do the lives. Logan, for you to attract cash flow, I would be creating educational pieces of content, very targeted on the exact person you want to attract. So I wouldn't just start off with going, who wants to look at real estate? That's cool. It shows you're an expert. I would be like, hey, if you got 50 grand, this is the 3 steps I would do today to invest it to have a 2.5 return before June 1st. You create that content over the next 6 months, 3 videos a week. Guess what's going to happen when someone exactly looks at your content? If they're the avatar,
no,
he's the guy I need to invest with. If the lady who's just getting into real estate, love that, she's going to go to Sarah, who's doing general real estate advice. But if the guy who's got 50 grand in one account, he's like, dude, I got to spend it before tax season, and he wants real estate, and he comes to you, boom, trust, with a clear link. Hey, here's how to work with me, right? Or jump on a free call, or build your, dude, there's the move, period.
So I'm gonna come in there because Jay, like this is the first time that we've met, right?
Yeah.
And so, although you're a magician, by trade, like
Yeah.
what you just described right there is what I've been doing over the last 7 months. I have paid someone who helped me with that, literally the exact process you talked about. This is why Jay is amazing, guys, is that he literally just gave the game plan of what I should do. Well, what he didn't know is that I've been doing that for 7 months. So what you just said is exactly what I've been doing. And all of my deals I have in a contract right now, like they come from my Instagram DMs from people who are saying, hey, like I see what you're doing. I put those exact same things on there. And
hey, let me ask you this. How much money have you made from your Instagram this year? Honestly, don't lie.
Over six figures.
Awesome. Yeah. Listen to that. 6 figures from a platform that's free, that you didn't have to spend any direct mailers. You didn't have to run a stupid Facebook ad campaign from a company that wants to pimp you out and bleed you dry. Why do I know this? It's been me before. You didn't have to work with some terrible business coach that doesn't really know the space but wants to just think he's really important. You didn't have to work with a social media strategist, right? Logo. You just had to use the platform, be authentic, create content driven towards the pain or the problem to your avatar, and then consistency,
Yeah.
It's cool, man. Dude, it makes me happy, dude. Like, I'm like, shit, this stuff works. I've had a few years in the game. I'm like, shit, this stuff works, man.
And just so you know, like 6 months ago, I didn't have an Instagram. Like I had an Instagram that I got shut down, right? That's what a whole different situation. I had an Instagram that had shut down, so I had to start a brand new one. And it was actually an opportunity for me to be like, okay, I'm a server fresh. I'm a server with these strategies that you just implemented. And anyway, like I just want to say that what you said was amazing and was spot on, because I've actually experienced that in the last 6-7 months. But what I want to know, Jay, is like, what was that transition point from you going from doing entertainment, being a magician, to now helping people grow the personal brand? Like, what was that thought process? And then also what does your business actually look like today?
Well, magic was always, me. Think of a soldier in the battle. When a soldier starts, he gets a little sword. Then he learns a new skill and he gets a shield. Then he gets a hat. It's the same thing for me. My sword was me as a magician. The sword was me as a TV host. The hat was me as a speaker. So I started becoming like this. I always, I like Jason Bourne from the, I like special agents. I always felt like I was like a Swiss Army knife. Like, dude, put me in any situation at any time with anyone, I'll work the room. You give me 15-year-old like boys, you give me 75-year-old like older people at a nursing home, I know how to work it. So like, I felt like throughout my journey, I learned new skill sets, speaking, sales, site like NLP, all the fun stuff that I wanted to do. And then 2020 happened, obviously, with the pandemic, and I was speaking, but I wasn't really happy. I was definitely not happy. I was speaking to corporations, and when you speak to corporations, they pay well, they pay on time, but the problem is I like a room that moves in a way of like they do something after the event. Mm-hmm. You're speaking to Bank of America and they're sitting there, they're engaged, they're excited, you have them, but then guess what happens 30 minutes after the event? They're in the same position because there's no action steps. They're not entrepreneurs, they're robots, they're slaves. And you do that over and over and over again, you as an artist just loses the passion. It's like you being a chef and making an amazing meal, and the people in front of the table you see put ketchup all over the dish, and it's very specific to the taste buds for the meal. They just, you'd be like, what do I don't care. That's how I was.
This is so good, because as someone, Logan and I have talked about this tons of times. I love giving, and I used to do a lot of one-on-ones with newer investors to give them kind of a game plan, right?
Yeah.
And one of the most disheartening things was when you'd pour into them, and you feel them, and you know that you're inspiring them, and then 2 months later you see them post in social media about how they're stuck and how they don't know what to do. And then I feel that as a showman, I understand that you want that moment to last longer than when you're on stage with them.
Yeah.
So as we're running up on time, I want to talk a little bit about the Ace of Spades. for a lot of us, can you kind of lead us into what the Ace of Spades is, and how can some of us meaningfully tie in or plug in with the Ace of Spades?
Yeah, well, Ace of Spades is a full service PR agency where our speciality is personal branding. So Ace of Spades, obviously, I was a magician. I was super happy I got that LLC. You know, when you put the LLC in, you're like, there is no way I'm gonna get this. I'm like, damn, bye. So I thought LLCs were harder. Maybe it's not as hard as like a URL name on the internet. Anyway, so we help people grow their personal brands. So let's say you're listening right now, and let's say you're like, listen, I'm doing a couple of deals, or I'm maybe doing 50 a month, but I know deep down that I want to have more deals quickly. I know deep down that if more people saw me, I could help more people. Maybe you want to be the person that gives quality information. You're tired of hearing people giving this terrible information. You want to be the guy, the trusted guy to go to. Maybe you want to get your own television show and be more of a celebrity. Whatever pain or purpose or problem that you have, personal branding and PR can help you get there. Whether it's on a smaller level, you want to be the number one go-to investor in Minneapolis, Minnesota, or hey, you want to be a Payson Jamil and like I want everybody to know me. We can help you do that. We can give you a strategy, give you a plan, and the big thing is we're very hard on keeping people accountable.
So speaking of keeping people accountable, I think this is a great opportunity. Based on what you just said about like what really moves you is having people move after conversations, after talks.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Sam and I are on as Sam talks about, like he knows he wants to do it, he should be doing it, not doing it. Like I know how important it is. That's honestly how we got connected. I was like, dude, like this guy's doing it, I'm doing it. Like I respect you, I see what you're doing. And Jay just gave a simple 3-step process of what you should be doing. Right. So, Sam, I think, is this a time for you to actually like show that you value Jay's information by actually taking that step to do Instagram Live every single day? Right. Create 100%. Consistency.
Right. So you have no idea. So I'm a note taker. I've actually been taking notes this entire time.
We're not talking about notes. We're talking about action.
I know. There's actions.
Someone's getting drilled right now. Yeah. Hey, listen, let me turn it up. Yeah. Let me turn it up for you. Let me speed up this process. See, like speed is my wingman. That's been one trick for me. Mm-hmm. That's done very well for me because I've been solo, didn't have a dog, never really like had a main girlfriend. And I would be like, I'm in Singapore. Hey, can you come to Thailand tomorrow morning? Yeah, 100%. Boom, 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 go. Right? Yeah. So speed. But here's the way I'm going to, Logan, you want me to keep Sam completely accountable?
Jay,
this is a great way.
You're way too handsome to be single.
This is true.
I choose, dude.
You're way too handsome.
Dude, I'm on a different level, dude. Some girl yesterday is like, "Are you on Adderall?" I said Adderall was based from me. Like they tested it and made it. Now, but listen, here's the best way to keep someone accountable. I do this for clients who think they're all talk. They're big players. Ready for this, Sam? This is going to be hard for you.
Let's do it.
I want you to give Logan. I want you to wire him $1,000 cash after this. Every day you don't do a live, he keeps $33.33.
Game on.
You
Logan,
don't.
After this, you need to send me all your routing stuff.
You don't feel that's a good number? Give him 10 G's, dude. Every day you'll be like, I'm getting this done. I did this with a client. I'm always the kind of person where I'm pretty easygoing. I allow people to see their own faults before I know it's going to happen because it's just better for me to do it that way. So she said, I'm going to do it. I said, love that. 2 days in, she did it. Third day, she did like 15 seconds. I was like, I'll give you that one. Fourth day, she didn't do it. Fifth day, she didn't do it. Sixth day. After 2 or 3 days, right? Like you just, that's it, whatever. How's the lives going? Like I just got so much stuff on, like, fear, right? I said, cool. Hey, do me a favor. Can you wire me $5,000 right now? Why? I already just paid you. Wire me $5,000. Just wire me $5,000. You've paid me once. You trust me? You trust me again? Wire me $5,000. Great. She was like, I think the whole shock and awe was like, do you get it? Good. Every day you don't do a live, I'm keeping 30 days of whatever $5,000 is, right? I can't remember what it was, for $66 or something. Yeah. You know, divided by 30, 166 a day. She did it.
All right. Game on, Logan.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And the reason I share that story is because sometimes what we tell ourselves and what we actually do are two different things. Find something that's going to motivate you to be like, damn, you know?
Yeah, no, I'm going to need that money back. So 100%. All right.
Yeah, dude, just drop 1,000. That's it. Like, dude, you know what 1,000 can do for you? It's nice shoes, couple of dinners, like, you know, whatever, rent.
Dude,
that's amazing.
So there you go, guys. And this is something that I'll live and die by. The power of being voluntold into an uncomfortable situation. It's terrifying and it's scary, and it feels like it's coming too fast at you. But it's one of the most powerful things that can happen. So Logan, after this, I'm going to get your routing number and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to send you $1,000, and we're going to do it.
I want 5% on that one. All right, like let's at least 5. If it doesn't, listen. I don't need it, but if it doesn't work, put 5% to the Ace of Spades.
Every day that I miss, 5% will be.
Yeah, and let me help you, Sam. I like you. Set the alarm. This is what you want to do. Do it at the time. Don't make it hard for yourself. Do it at a time that people are going to watch. If you do it at 4 a.m. and you get no one, you're going to be disappointed. Do it at like 7 o'clock, right? Put your alarm on 6:45, 6:50, 6:55, right? Put yourself in a position where you can win. Put yourself in a position where you're ramping up to do it, you know? Dude, I've done I'll do any trick to help me because I know the power of you don't know what's going to happen to you when you do this. You will get a deal, 100%. You will get a deal. Whether it's not exactly in that 30 days, you do that every day, the same time you tell people, hey, Jason, really love you coming here. Come tomorrow. I'd love to answer more of those questions. You are building this incredible vibe of authority and trust and passion. Man, you're welcome.
Dude, 30 days from now, it's going to be.
You're welcome.
JJ, dude, thank you. That's this is going to be fun. This is going to be really fun and uncomfortable. And
now tell me how you go. And listen, let me close it on this too. If you do it, I'll come back in 30, and I'll do an interview with you on my Instagram. I'd love to see how your feedback was on that.
Love it. I'm going to hold you to it, man. Origin story part 2 with JJ will happen in later after the 30 days. We'll get JJ on, and then I'm going to make him give me back that. Oh no, he's not even going to get the 5%.
I don't get the 5%.
No, he's not getting it.
I'm not going to miss. You'll get it back. You'll get it back from Logan.
I'm not going to miss. I'd get it back. I wouldn't get it back if I miss, but I'm not going to miss. So there we go. So in 30, 45 days, you're going to be back here and we're going to have a great time. But JJ, brother, you're doing a lot of amazing things. You're doing a lot of things that I aspire. Logan knows this. I want to be on stages. Like I've been on stages in the past. I've loved it. I've fallen in love with it. To see what you're doing, the way that you're doing it is inspiring.
Thanks,
and for you to take this time to pour into us the way that you have, it's massive. So everyone, please go follow at JJ Live, show him some love, take a screenshot, post a story. And then for all of you guys, I'm already doing this. I've actually already got the book now thing half filled out on the Ace of Spades website. If you guys are in that position, ready to take your personal branding really, really seriously, like I am, go ahead and give the Ace of Spades a call. JJ.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
I appreciate it, guys. Well, and let me just close it on this too. Don't feel like anybody that, I got to be at this level. You know, most people can get started. And more so, you just need a plan, guys. You know, we've got a coaching program that we do once a month, keeps you accountable. You can work with me one-on-one. Or, there's enough information on my Instagram for free. We have a link in my Instagram. You can get free information every week. Like, just don't do nothing. I hate when people I'm in. You do something. What have you done, man? So I'm here to support everybody.
Amazing. Jay, again, thank you so much on behalf of Sam and everybody watching this. Like truly, like
Thank
this
you
was
so much.
amazing. Like, I can feel your energy, and we're thousands of miles away. You're truly, I can chill. You're authentic. Right? It's clear, and just appreciate you taking the time and sharing that little. Like you shared so many little bombs, and most importantly, taking action. And that's something that we definitely are on the same page. Like, I love taking action. I hate talking with no point on the end of it. And so you just made this freaking podcast amazing. So
When am I coming to speak at your next event, boys? When are you doing a live event?
we need to do a live event. There we go.
This is funny. You're in Miami. This is one of the things because I want to be on stages. I'm actually my first event that I'm going to plan. It's actually going to be in Orlando. So we're going to pack it out. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be for entrepreneurs, investors, and whatnot. I'm going to go crush this 30-day challenge. Okay, then we're going to have you on the podcast again. Then at some point, because I'm going to have that in Orlando, I'm
speaking at it. Yeah,
I'm lovingly going to force you to be there.
Yeah. Well, and look, just one more nugget too, because I'm passionate today. Like, do live events if everybody's listening. This is like, when the Marvel finishes the movie, the credits, they get the final bit. So if you set a live event every month, Meetup or Eventbrite, very powerful way for people to actually invest with you because they can see you, they can touch you, hug you, kiss you. It's 4D. So it's like, do an event. Even if you get 15 people at the local pizzeria, I tell everybody, do an event, because every touch point, hey, come on my live. Guess what? Free. You can get to know me. Hey, join the email list. You can know me online. Hey, I'd love to see you in person. This next Saturday at Joe's Pizzeria, 12 to 2. We're going to talk investing and have pizza, have a good time. Man, you have every chance to grab them. Let's roll. Let's go. Actually, I'm going to get in trouble. I'm rolling at 3 o'clock.
I know you got to go. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate
your time. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.